Yes, Marina, I agree. It's very pretty, but, to tell you the truth, I'm not certain we should have come down here. Perhaps it was that squadron of hawks that nearly blew us to bits, but I just feel that...
Speak, Earthman. State your case.
Oh, hello. What? Oh, right, yes. We've got a button we'd like you to press, actually, if you would.
You have no place in space at all. You have no future.
No future? Oh, well, that's a bummer, although not really much of a surprise.
You carry with you the seeds of your own destruction.
Well, yes, it's called the Randomiser, but it's hardly
a contaminating organism. A plague of fear.
Fear? Oh, no, Torchy was last week. No, this week I'm feeling much more confident.
He has conquered his fear.
Well, no, it's never 100% conquered where Torchy is concerned, but this week I'm pretty confident that not only will it not be Torchy, but it will also be an episode that proves humanity is not all about violence and hatred, but has a deeply moral core.
You can share our power, giving substance to your wish.
Oh, really?
You are free to walk where your mind has the will to take you.
Oh, well, does that include pressing the button on the randomizer?
If your mind can find a way.
Okay, let's see. Oh, no. I did it! Well, hooray for me! That and the randomizer.
Unlike your human brain, this will never die. It has been developed over generations and grows with each life that is lived in it.
Well, that's both comforting and somewhat terrifying. Right, let's see what we have today. Well, the series is Four Feather Falls, and the episode is Gunfight on Main Street. Yeah, sorry.
Mankind is full of fear.
Yes, look, just because the episode title promises violence, does that mean you're going to destroy me now? One of those judging an individual guilty for the crimes of their whole species thing?
No.
Oh, well, thank goodness for that.
The death struggle of inferior species is very often the finest hour of their existence.
Indeed. And as this is currently the only episode of Four Feather Falls that you can watch in HD, I am hoping it'll be a good one.
Come fearlessly into our brain and see.
Oh, well, after you.
The four feathers on this hat are magic. They enable Tex Tucker's dog and horse to speak, and his guns to fire without him even touching them. And now, another exciting adventure from Four Feather Falls.
So, welcome back to Four Feather Falls on the Randomiser, and a notable episode of the show, not specifically for its place within the story of the Anderson legacy or even this particular series, but only for the fact that this episode is, at the present time, the only episode of Four Feather Falls that you can see in glorious HD. This is a bonus feature on the Day in the Life of a Space General Blu-ray, and also the this is Super Mario Nation disc from the big old Super Mario Nation box set a few years ago. And I've got to say, it does look very nice in HD. I mean, the rest of the show, we're stuck with these copies that look fairly grotty, fairly muffled sound. I hope you can hear on this episode.
If it's the sheriff you're after, you're wasting your time. He's out.
Thanks, partner. Where'll I find him?
Can't rightly say. Yeah, you got some business with him?
Could have, yeah.
But the sound is instantly so much clearer, so much bigger and bassier. It's wonderful to watch this episode.
Absolutely.
But then also rather sad to watch the other 38 and realise they could all look as good as this. But we may have to wait for that for a while.
Morgan?
No. Where are your partners? Ike Tobin and Billy Pinto.
Anyway, this chap Morgan's arrived in town.
You know that.
Well, if you
He
do,
clearly has some history with Big Ben, because he's instantly pulled a gun on him.
tell them I'll hunt them down wherever they are. Hear that?
Yeah, I hear. But they're gonna kill you, Morgan. And when it happens, I hope I'm there to see it.
Oh, I love how dark and threatening this show can be sometimes. That's it. Ben's riding out of town. The newcomer in town is still holding the gun on him. But yeah, going back to this episode being in HD, and I know it's a strange thing to say. I hope you can hear the high definition, but you really can just listening to the soundtrack. And of course, I think by the time this episode of the Randomiser goes out, you guys may have had some news about Supercar on Blu-ray.
Rick?
As at the time of recording this, I finished the trailer for it yesterday, which you may have seen.
It's the funny little Rick.
I may have to censor this whole section of the podcast if that announcement has been delayed, but oh, Supercar does look very nice in HD, and
It's the fun.
you know, the wheels have been in motion. I know we've been saying for a while, oh, one day. Now Supercar is coming in HD in its entirety, and that has certainly boosted the chances that Four Feather Falls might one day get the same treatment, and I do hope so, because it looks and sounds so nice in HD.
It's the funny little.
If you haven't seen this episode, if you haven't seen the show, I thoroughly recommend you getting hold of one of the discs that it appears on.
Say, I know that voice. That's Tex Tucker.
Sure is. Do you mean that you don't know Texas Sheriff here?
And that he sings constantly.
Well, I'll be doggone. Tex Tucker.
Say, Tex, there was a fella asking after you, the name of,
Tex? Hey, Tex.
And this show is far more sophisticated in its writing and in its characterizations sometimes than it really needs to be. I know a lot of people compare it to like the Woody's Roundup bit in Toy Story 2. I doubt that this was any influence on that, despite the fact that they are obviously very similar. But you know, Woody's Roundup is pitched as a very kiddie show, and this isn't so much.
He said to tell you he's gonna get you.
I mean, we've gone from Torchy of, you know, magical toys and all sorts of sickly goings on to you know, I'm gonna kill you.
Talk about me. Now you tell me about.
Well, I mean, some might say that threats of death were an underlying element of Torchy anyway, but we're not here to talk about Torchy.
Billy Pinto.
We're here to talk about this chap.
Those two. What do you want with them?
They robbed the stage at Kells Creek and shut up the driver. The driver was my kid brother.
Your brother? Tobin Pinto. Gee, I'm sorry about that, Cass.
You know, you could do this show without that edge to it.
And I don't need no help.
But I really respect that they go to some dark places with this sometimes for a kid's show.
And I'm gonna get him.
Hold it, Cass. You can't take the law into your own hands.
That's my job.
Match for two of them. It'd be suicide.
I'm telling you, Tex, stay out of this. It ain't your business.
Okay, but don't forget, I'm the sheriff of this town, and it is my business.
I just wish I had a song to cover a murderous vendetta. I don't have one.
Fool! He'll get himself killed for sure. What are you gonna do, boss?
Don't rightly know. But I got a hunch there's something more I ought to find out about this business. Come on, Dusty.
Well, where are we going, boss?
I'm gonna send a telegram.
Ooh.
Ben didn't have a chance. Before he could slap leather, he was looking down a barrel of Morgan's gun.
That's all very fine. But I saw Tobin once in a gunfight in Abilene. Yes, I've never seen anybody faster. Oh, now, come along.
And the HD on this episode, and I think I may just focus on this episode for the HDness of it, it does make these sets look so much more beautiful. And the costumes, there's some lovely detail on these costumes.
Evening. Whiskey.
And again, drinking in a kid's show.
As I was saying, it was a real fine horse that they sold me, but look.
And small talk.
Comes trouble. Morgan.
Oh.
Relax, Morgan.
Oh, that's interesting.
Toting a gun?
Live action hand pulling a gun on a puppet.
For Mike Tobin?
That's very early for that kind of thing.
Get.
Cut the wisecracks and say your piece.
I told him you said you was
Again, whenever you look at something and think, oh, that's really impressive for this show, chances are it probably happened like 2 shows earlier anyway.
Well, I don't know. What about that?
Rhubarb from our
They also said
watchers in the bar.
since you'll get on your horse and put as many miles as you can between you and them.
You've said enough. Now beat it before I plug you.
Oh, no. I promised myself I'd be around when they kill you. And I wouldn't miss this for anything. Hey, Jim.
Jim's hiding behind the bar. And Grandpa Twink's leaving.
Twink, you seem in a terrible hurry.
I ain't got no time to stop, ma'am. I gotta get to the sheriff.
Oh, the sheriff? Oh dear. Does that mean trouble?
Yeah, sure does. Means a gunfight. You better get on home.
Oh, Mr. Twink, just a minute.
What is it now, ma'am?
Tex ain't in his office.
Doggone it, woman. Why didn't you say so?
I love the relationship between these two.
You're going.
I gotta find Tex.
In some episodes, I think Denise is just sort of shoehorned in as one of her characters where they can't really find naturally a way to fit her into the story.
Call him again.
Well, Tex is over at Dan Morse's telegraph office.
Come on, Dan. Call him again. I know how you feel, Tex, but it's in the regulations. You gotta have patience.
And again, you don't instantly recognise that that's Parsons doing the voices for both of these characters when they're talking to each other. He's also doing the voice of one of these baddies as well.
Yes, Grandpa?
You seen Tex anywhere?
Oh, I love Grandpa's little slippers.
You gotta help me find him. Come on.
If only we had like a bell or something we could ring when there was trouble. Oh, it's getting close to midday. That's when we're going to have our gunfight on Main Street. Sitting in the saloon, watching the clock. Ooh, this is nice music. Ooh, everyone knows what's coming.
Count the minutes, Morgan. 'Cause you ain't got many left.
I'll deal with you when I finish with your partners.
Here they come. Again on some very derpy horses. Any horse that isn't Rocky is just...
Tex!
well, is a very sorry sight.
Ain't nothing yet.
Dusty! Tex!
Why, Jake, what's the matter?
Grandpa says there's gonna be a gunfight, and he says you gotta do something.
They finally pulled into town. Ben's 2 accomplices. Is it Ike, Tobin, and someone else?
Morgan, it's Tobin.
Tobin.
I heard tell you want me.
Oh, that's it. Going out to face him.
Tex, hold it.
Something coming in the telegraph office. Oh, and there was a shot of the 2 baddies there. There was a horse positioned right in the middle of the shot, but quite way back.
It is, Tex.
Staring straight at the camera, he looked very sinister.
Cass Morgan, wanted for murder, stagecoach driver, Kells Creek.
So, this guy's a bad un too.
But before I do, I want to tell you something.
I don't want to hear any of your lies, Tobin.
You better listen while you've still got a chance. We didn't rob the stage. We didn't kill your brother.
Don't give me that. I don't believe it.
Okay, have it your way.
Again, these are a pair of
Say your prayers first.
slightly goofy-looking puppets, but not too bad for this show.
Come shooting.
Hold it. There ain't gonna be no gunslinging here.
I told you to stay out of this, Tex Tucker.
But the episode's called Gunfight on Main Street.
Morgan's asked for it, and he's gonna
How can we have a gunfight with no guns?
Drop them guns. It wasn't them 2 that did it.
I've heard enough talk. From now on, I'm talking with lead.
Now don't nobody move.
Yeah, you wouldn't get that in Woody's Roundup.
This is my town.
It's not one of the phrases you hear when he pulls the string on his back.
2, get going. There's just one thing I gotta do first.
Oh,
Like I said, get going.
I love that sound of the dog barking in the background, and another live action shot of a human hand pulling a gun there.
You saved my life.
on real puppets.
Oh,
What do you mean?
you know what I mean, Morgan. You robbed that stage, and you shot the driver. Too bad you didn't know it was your own brother. It was a good alibi trying to throw the blame on those guys, and it almost worked. So start walking towards the jail.
Yay, well, again, that's a dark ending for a fairly grim episode. I can quite understand why this episode was chosen to represent the show in HD, because it's, you know, it shows the strength of the series. This is not just a harmless little kiddie show, you know. There's death, and, you know, we don't have to see it. We don't even often have to hear about it, but it's enough that we know that in this world, the stakes are real, are genuine, so I really enjoy this one. I hope I would have enjoyed it as much were it not in HD, but it is in HD and it looks gorgeous, as will many other Anderson shows to come.